Okay, everyone, I am so pumped about this. Let us know if you like our new countdown. We just always trying to add new things, make it more entertaining, let more people join so that we can have a full house when we go over these really important things. First off, hope you guys had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I want to know what you did. I'm also jealous if you got to light fireworks because they don't really do that in Spain. So glad you liked it, Andrew, and thanks for stopping by. Robert, thanks for sharing. We just want to get this information out as quick as possible. And if you saw my post, it was about XRP and the fantastic XRP setup that Trip posted in the Capital Mindset Trading Group, and XRP pumped. Shortly after that, impeccable timing, I must say. Pipeline, what's up? We are pumped for today's stream. I'm telling you, I woke up this morning and I was just ready to crush this week. I don't know about you. I got a good workout in this morning and I'm just like ready to go. I'm laser focused as we're waiting for what's coming. Love the countdown. Unstoppable Bulls. Well, hello there. We might have to add you to the stream. That's amazing. And we're having a full house here. So this is really, really great. And we have a lot to go over. Don't we, Trip? I would say we could time that pump better with XRP.
Yeah, exactly. We're hoping to see some movement today, but we need to see Bitcoin hold at least at these levels, just in the short term for now.
Right. Yeah. So before we get into the charts, I'm just going to go over some news and some thoughts to get you guys pumped for this Monday morning. And just ready to go, guys. Let's crush it this week. Okay. So I'm just going to go over a few things. First things first, this was some news that kind of spooked people on the 4th of July about this massive whale. The $8 billion Bitcoin whale move is likely an address upgrade with no signals of selling. So we kind of cleared the air on that one, right? I know a lot of people were worried that this massive whale was just going to dump all this Bitcoin and it was just like going to make a massive correction, but likely just an address upgrade. And then I want to go over just some like stats about Bitcoin in general. As we're waiting for people to join, we're going to go over XRP, the killer chart that Trip has prepared, and also a few other surprises in this stream. But also we're going to show you what one of our members did with XRP last stream, and you're going to freak out. It's insane. These are the kind of opportunities that are coming. So stay tuned for that. And I just want to highlight here, in the last 6 years, Bitcoin has compounded at 48% annually. Few assets even come close to that. Zoom out and keep stacking. Yep. It's always important to keep that long-term vision alive, guys, especially during the volatile times. I'm so excited. Next up. So as you know, Trump's big, beautiful bill, or beautiful big bill, I can't even remember what he called it, has passed. And people are really worried, including Elon Musk. So it seems that their feud is getting bigger as Elon thinks that Trump is actually going the opposite direction that they started out in. At the end of the day, Elon is in it for different reasons, it feels, and Trump is more of a businessman. So let me know what you think of this in the comments. But Elon says, what's the point of Doge if the government's just going to add $5 trillion more in debt? So they created Doge in order to, create this government efficiency and cut back on redundant spending and things like that. And then suddenly now we're raising the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. And then we have here, tax cuts are worthless if the government keeps overspending. Inflation is the real tax. What do you think about this, Trip?
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's got to be a lot of work done. We're going to see probably a lot of reactions in the market due to this. So really, it's just a wait and see kind of a week because there's so much news.
Right. Sorry, then I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at, because it's pretty astounding. So just one moment as I add this to the stage. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So this is where we're at now. Yeah, the tax cuts are worthless. So then we're going to go to this, which is the richest man in the world just said his political party will embrace Bitcoin. Fiat is hopeless. So will America party? So then Elon now wants to come out and create this new so-called America party, right? Which is pretty wild. And it seems that, like, although he helped get Trump elected, now their two paths are going completely separate ways. So how will this play out? I mean, this is only good for our space in the end, right? And then we have some stats on July. We started saying back in late April that new highs were likely coming this summer, and a big surprise rally. So basically, I just like to look at these stats sometimes also to get that perspective that we always talk about here on the stream. The good news, July is the best month of the year in post-election year in the past 20 years. So it is the second best the past decade. So will we have another repeat of that this July? Will Bitcoin see new all-time highs, which is in the title? Will we see 120K in July? Maybe coming sooner than a lot of people think. That's in the card. So now I want to play to just back on this thought about the government spending and the $5 trillion debt ceiling. I want to play a video for you now of just a thought on this, which is pretty astounding, I think. Let me pull this up now.
We're going well, then we're going to see something even more bizarre. We're going to see how fooled everyone has been, even the people we trust as being super intelligent and on top of everything. We're going to see exposure about the Federal Reserve that's going to blow everyone away. They're going to realize that we didn't need to be taxed at all on any level, and that every dollar created out of thin air was supposed to be profit for the Treasury, not tax debt. And when that is understood by the mainstream population, believe me, it's going to be a revolution. People are going to come unglued.
So what do you think about this, Trip? I mean, I know we were talking about it earlier. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's interesting because Bitcoin has always kind of been in this position where it's like the anti-establishment kind of a thing. So now we're starting to see all of the issues that we've had with government, or really like all the excess taxation that's been going on. People often say taxation is theft. So now we can see actual results coming from inside the system, and we're starting to see it bubble up to the top.
Right. Yeah. It's like this has been forming this idea for a long time now, but now it's finally surfacing and people are finally realizing the real effects of this. In fact, I don't know if you remember back when Bitcoin was at $19,000, it seems like light years ago, although it was only a few years ago, it was at $19,000 and the bank run happened, the Silicon Valley bank run. Do you guys remember that? I mean, it feels like people just forgot about it so quickly, but that kind of thing is real. And in that time when we had that bank run, Bitcoin went from $19,000 to $30,000 in what Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, later described as a flight to quality, right? So will a similar thing start to play out on a grand scale? That is the biggest question of all. And also, you know, if the stock market is going to continue to make new highs, crypto should follow, as well as the M2 global liquidity chart, which is kind of just starting to skyrocket, and Bitcoin is lagging. So this is like all on a macro scale. We've got all of these indicators and perspectives and confluence. Now Trip is going to show you on the charts where we stand, what we're looking at for Bitcoin, what's happening today, as well as that CME gap. And we're also going to go over XRP and a few things that maybe you didn't have in mind about XRP. So stay tuned for that. If you're just joining now, smash the like and share. We would greatly appreciate that. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what you did for 4th of July weekend. I want to hear what's on your mind, guys. It's Monday. It's time to get hyped, amped. What are you looking at doing? Are you looking at altcoins? Are you looking at Bitcoin? We want to know. We want to help you as much as possible. The goal of this channel is to help give you as much value as possible to make better decisions in your investing and trading abilities, and just to continue down that path to financial freedom and to actually really being able to leave the rat race, do whatever it is you want to do. And that is the only goal here, right? Before we get into the charts, I'm just going to go over a few more things. One of them being one of my favorite quotes I'm going to try to give quotes every time, but from Warren Buffett. Although he's not come around to Bitcoin quite yet, he is invested in Neobank, which is Bitcoin friendly. So he's coming around, but they do have good advice. And it says, you're dealing with a lot of silly people in the marketplace. It's like a great big casino and everyone else is boozing. If you stick with Pepsi, you should be okay. Okay, so let's replace Pepsi for Coke Zero or Coke or whatever you like to drink. Mainly, if you just stay cool, calm, and collected and level-headed, you will do very well. So that's just that. Also, if you're boozing, just make sure it's with ATH vodka, okay? And we are going to have an ATH vodka toast when Bitcoin hits all-time high because it's all-time high vodka. All right, so we're going to have some fun. I'm really excited for today's stream. We got from Andrew, XRP move is great. Looking forward to what you are seeing on the charts. I'm expecting us to get rejected at these levels. Okay, so we will have a look at that now, but just know that when XRP moves, it moves, and a big move is brewing. And I'm so excited to show you what a member did in our group last time. Unstoppable Bulls, Rob, XLM, looking like it wants to follow XRP. Yes, they usually go in unison. Usually it's XRP first. I think we saw something a little bit different this time, maybe. But I'm gonna let Trip take the stage now and get going with all of that stuff. If you're just joining the stream, we're gonna go over XRP and XLM and a few other surprises. So, Trip, I'll pass the mic to you.
Okay, I think I've just brought the chart in there. If you can
let's bring this chart up now and let's get right into it. And guys, let me know you're tuning in from what you did for 4th of July. We just love to hear from you. So yeah, let's start with Bitcoin first then and see where we're at.
Okay, perfect. So this is the big overview for now. This is the Bitcoin 6-hour chart. I think in our last stream we were talking about this gray resistance zone that Bitcoin just bumped up against here. So we had a bit of a fake out below this channel that we had drawn, and now it seems that Bitcoin has been able to crawl back above it. But again, we're hitting this gray resistance zone. But on the flip side too, we're also starting to retest this channel again. So if this was a trap, and then now it's confirming that trap with a retest, this could be a bullish beginning for Bitcoin, at least in the short term. But really what we want to see is a break above this gray resistance zone first to confirm that this move is actually strong enough to continue to the upside at the very least.
Right. So, I mean, people are getting frustrated, like, why the chop? Why is Bitcoin, all these supposed weird moves here at the bottom, but it's par for the course, right? Like, there's a lot of whipsaw action oftentimes when Bitcoin is trying to find its bottom. So there was a CME gap too, and a lot of people were asking about that. Can we pull that up?
Sure. This is the CME chart on the 1 hour, or this is a 2-hour chart. So over the weekend, we had a gap forming in this little area. I'm going to zoom into it so you can see it a little better. So this little gap from this level at about 108.35 up to about 109 is where we had this gap. And now the CME has been filling this gap now that it's open. So, so far, this is a decent move. This is just to clear out the gap to get that finished. Once we're done clearing this gap, then I think we can consider more upside coming after this. But right now, that's the first thing I just wanted to see on the CME chart, is to fill that gap for now.
Right. And it looks like we're in the process of trying to do so now. So that's good. Andrew says he was charting all weekend in California. Well, California is a very wonderful place to be, but man, you're an example then of being laser focused. Now is the time to go all in with this, guys. And by all in, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about attention, all of your resources, learning everything you humanly possibly can, and soaking up all of the advice that you get, or just trading tips like from Trip on the stream for free. I do have to mention that we are doing the summer sale until July 11th. The link is in the description below. You get a 20% off the Capital Mindset Trading Group. We've got leverage trading. We've got spot trading, and also just announcements to keep you updated on news that moves the market. So we've got that. And there's also a link to the preview channel as well, if you want to follow along and check it out before you join. But guys, we've been having so many new members. It's super exciting. It's an amazing group, amazing energy. And just wait till you see what one of the members did. I'm excited for that. Daniel, what's up? Waiting for altcoin season. We'll have news on that too in this stream about altcoin season. So stay tuned. And yeah, Trip, pass it to you.
Sure. The next one we're looking at, this is something I just posted this morning. Bitcoin was making this very similar looking price action here on the right side of the chart. And if we compare it to Ethereum on the 2-week, it's actually kind of crazy how similar they are in structure. So we're kind of using the Ethereum 2-week chart to act as a guide on our Bitcoin 1-hour chart. So this is something that I see often. It's because I've been looking at the charts so much over the years. I've kind of got most of it memorized. So if I see something familiar, I want to go back and take a look at it to see how it played out and see if I can narrow into pretty much where we are in this structure. So this chart on the right with this green circle or green oval is just highlighting this bounce that we saw on Ethereum on the 2-week chart. It's the same point of control level that we're bouncing off over here. And we just want to see if we're going to get this uptrend coming, at least in the short term for Bitcoin. I think if we at least retest this point of control level, that would be a decent enough support retest before we can start seeing more moves to the upside for Bitcoin.
Right. This is a really interesting chart. I'm loving these mirrored images and just these sort of mirrored patterns just to get an idea, right? Nothing is set in stone, but to get an idea, because it's kind of crazy how similarly they've been playing out, right?
Yeah, definitely. We've had some instances where it's almost a textbook copy of the other comparison that we're making. So now that I've learned that, the price action seems to repeat, it seems to reverse, or it'll flip something that it's done in its past, you can use that as a guide to anticipate what the next move could look like. Now, again, it's never perfect, like swing for swing identical, but it does give you an overall idea of the ups and the downs and the swings in general and the trend. So we keep a close eye on these things once in a while. It kind of gives us an edge, and it's something that you don't really see anywhere else, because I'm not really too sure that a lot of other traders have caught on to this yet. Sometimes it seems like drawing fractals can be drawn anywhere and they can be pretty random, but a lot of the times too, if you're really focused on it, they can act more like a guide instead of just a random idea.
Oh yeah, and we've been loving these concepts in the group, and this is what I love about our group, is that we get so many different sort of ways to look at this than other people are charting on X, and then where you can find publicly maybe on TradingView, or they're just different perspectives. So I see a tweet here from Leonard. Okay, tweet a post. Hi guys, I'm a full-time TA trader on Bitcoin. I really like the $1,800 level for longs. Flush out all the leverage longs before the next major move up. Yeah, actually let us know in the comments if you want to know, see more on leverage trades, because we do have a leverage trader who joins us, who's an admin in the group as well. He'll be doing that. But Trip, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, well, that's the bearish scenario to this idea, where we're looking at again on the 6-hour chart. If we don't hold this channel trend line retest, and then we get a move down to the 0.618 near 106.7 7K for Bitcoin, then that's going to be the next crucial level. And it's also lining up with the 200 MA here on the 6-hour chart as well. So if these key support levels are lost, then yes, we could definitely see a move down to, I have it here as the 0.272 level, and that's about 102,000 for Bitcoin. And really what we're looking for here is a trend changing idea. So back in June on the 5th or so, we had this first initial low, and then we put in a lower low closer to the 22nd of June. And then now, if it does come down like we're talking about, we'll be looking for a higher low, potentially at the 0.272 level. So that's the bearish idea in the short term. But for now, it looks like it's trying to hold. Really, we just need to wait and see. And also because of the news coming out this week, it's going to be a little bit of a flip of a coin to see if it's going to hold or not.
Right. So it's always an if that then this scenario with trading, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict. I would agree with you, Leonard, that, a lot of times Bitcoin likes to do the opposite. They like to flush out the longs and the shorts, and that's why some of the moves come. But this is just taking it day by day, hour by hour, like seeing what the price action does to dictate whether we're going to go down there or not. But yeah, those are all the key crucial levels to watch here. Otherwise, we're just in a waiting game right now, but it feels like just very suspenseful, right? It just feels like this train is leaving the station and potentially not coming back for a while. That's sort of the energy and momentum building up here. I see you're drawing out another, what seems to be triple bottom potential there.
Well, I'm just highlighting where the higher low could be that we're looking for. So just to give it more of a graphic representation of what I'm saying.
Right. No, that's interesting. So these are all crucial levels to watch and different things to keep in mind as we're trying to sort of play out scenarios as to where Bitcoin could be headed in the near term. And GM Trader Haro, GM, thank you guys all for joining. Let us know if you want some of your charts charted in this episode. Maybe we'll get those in. We had some requests from traders in the Capital Mindset trading group, so we're going to get those in as well. But yeah, guys, welcome, man. I hope you have an amazing Monday. I'm pumped. I am so pumped. Let me know if you're excited. I just can't contain it. I was just so looking forward to jumping on here with all of you and checking back in. So this is a really cool time. And I think on that note, we can get to the XRP news. But what do you say we show them, Trip, first what our member did last time with XRP?
Sure. Do you have that image already set up?
Let me pull that up while you're working on this.
Okay. I'm ready to go whenever you are.
Okay. You go ahead and start talking about XRP, and I'll pull up that image.
Okay, so this is the XRP one-day chart. I think we also talked about this in our one of our previous streams from a couple of days ago, or last week sometime. So we're looking for a breakout entry of this larger symmetrical triangle. So now it's just starting to poke its head up a little bit. I'll try to zoom in a little for you so you can see it a little better. On lower time frames, this is already a confirmed breakout. If we go down to the 1-hour chart, you can see that it's already broken this level. And now we're kind of looking for a retest maybe of this trend line. but there's also this level of support here. We could draw that in with a horizontal line just to show that the retest could be testing this support first, and that might be all it needs. But otherwise, you have the 1-day 200 MA overhead. This would be the next crucial level to break above if you're looking for entry on the break above that. I think there's still a chance that if we don't break that, we could move a little more sideways. Potentially it's a rejection and this turns into a fake out. So this will go along with what Bitcoin's doing. If our bullish scenario for Bitcoin fails, I would probably expect XRP to fail this breakout as well. And we would just consider this a rejection at the 1-day 200 MA. So right now it looks okay. But again, Bitcoin needs to cooperate for this idea to keep playing out.
Right. And what is the measured move on the breakout?
Of the larger pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Measured move. Really, I'm using fibs as my targets mostly. So as a fib measurement, you could go up to the 2.0, which is around $5.18. Otherwise, the move that I'm looking for as a safer bet would be around the 1.618 at about $4.50 for XRP.
That is a big move for a large cap like XRP. And yeah, I know in our leverage trading group, which I did pull up now, sorry about that earlier, this is what a member did previously. I just want to highlight that. This is massive. So he took out a 50x long on XRP and ended up, I mean, this is insane, right? What were the market conditions then? Do you remember when this was, Trip?
This was the initial bottom breakout from XRP. So that's back in January. So I think Bitcoin at that time, I'd have to pull up the chart to quote it exactly, but I think we were just starting to break above a resistance just the same.
Right.
So yeah, this being from January, that's when XRP was at 53 cents still.
And that was a massive move. And these moves tend to happen. They brew up for a while. I mean, XRP is consolidating forever, it feels like. And then all of a sudden it'll erupt out of nowhere and doesn't wait for anybody. So I remember this last kind of sort of violent move from XRP. And now we're potentially on the precipice of doing that again. So I just want to highlight the potential here. If you do want to learn how to leverage trade, we do have excellent admins. One of them is in the chat right now, and we can't wait to hear from him. Let us know if you'd like us to add some leverage strategies to this stream and some charts, because we will do that. I think that's really exciting. And, you know, you can really capitalize on these big moves that are brewing. So I'm going to put your chart back up now, Trip. Okay. Just for a second here. Right. So that's massive, right? Like this move is not going to be small if the breakout is confirmed, and just it's been pretty long consolidation, right?
Yeah, I think it's been in this pattern now since you can consider it started going sideways in December. So that's in 2024. So, you know, 6 to 7 months already, we've been moving mostly sideways. I think that could be enough time.
Right. And I like what you said about, you know, if the Bitcoin breakout is invalidated, that might be the same for XRP. So really, Bitcoin is in the driver's seat, just like it usually always is. And we're just waiting to see what's going to happen there. Now, we do have something that we want to show you, because a lot of people are asking, when will altcoin season come? Will it come? Is it coming? Are all eyes only on Bitcoin? Well, the goal should be, you guys, if you're going to buy altcoins, to outperform Bitcoin at the very least, right? So one of the indicators is to look at the chart versus Bitcoin. And we're not going to do that for the entire altcoin market just yet. We did go over total 3 in the last 2 streams, and nothing has really changed there. I believe it's on the verge of a massive breakout, but let's look at them individually just to get an idea of how far XRP could potentially outperform Bitcoin.
Right. So yeah, this is the XRP versus BTC paired chart. So this is a Binance comparison. Really, it's we're pretty much at the same kind of a level, like a strong resistance level on the BTC paired chart, just like the USDT paired chart is also at a critical level to break above as well. So try to find that kind of confluence is interesting when you're looking at different pairs versus different assets. So XRP versus the BTC paired chart, we're looking for a break above this resistance zone. We've had numerous attempts back here trying to break that level. So now we're attempting to break above it again. So I think if the USDT paired chart for XRP does break higher, it could be an indication that some coins are starting to outpace Bitcoin for this next move. So really what that means is that Bitcoin could go up 5% and then XRP could go up 10% instead. So on the chart, it'll look like it's going up against the Bitcoin paired chart.
Right, which is ultimately the goal. Otherwise, you just trade Bitcoin, right? And it's a lot easier. So this is the goal. Trip, strategy wise, what are you thinking? Like, what are you looking at now? People are asking when to transition into altcoins in general. What are your thoughts on this, just without getting too deeper into it?
Well, we definitely need to see a pullback on Bitcoin dominance. So that's really all it is when you're talking about alt season. It's when dominance gives up a little bit of its percentage in the market, and then you can see some of that flowing into the altcoins. So now that the market cap for Bitcoin is so big, it's hard to see like a big drop off on dominance, just because Bitcoin has been dominating by such a large margin. So we're taking advantage of the smaller pullbacks, and that's what the group's been trading mostly for the past, at least the past couple of years since the bottom of the bull run. So we're looking for, pullbacks on a 4-hour chart. Maybe you get a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks of good altcoin trading. But the way it looks like right now, we haven't really confirmed a big reversal on the high time frames that says the primary trend is about to change directions anytime soon. So we're really just trading the intermediate trend on the chart, which is basically like your mid-range time frames. Your high time frame would be like your 1 day to the weekly. Your mid-range time frames is like your 4-hour to the 12-hour, and then your minor trend is like your 15-minute to the 2-hour chart, just as an example for reference. So again, the higher the time frame, the bigger the pullback, the bigger the moves. That's more of an extended alt season. If you have it on the intermediate trend, which is your mid-range, that's usually maybe a good for maybe a week or two of good trading for altcoins. But it's always a little different. It depends what Bitcoin's doing too. If Bitcoin's going down while dominance is going down at the same time, it might not be, while dominance is going up at the same time, that's your worst case scenario for alts. If dominance is going down with Bitcoin, alts might be okay, but we're not really getting the explosive moves that we expect when dominance pulls back. So we need to have that perfect Goldilocks zone kind of a recipe where Bitcoin's going up and dominance is pulling back at the same time. That's usually where to get the strongest moves in the market from the altcoins.
Right. So we just need to look for a trend reversal in the Bitcoin dominance, see if it's starting to top out. I know that like the smallest percentage of Bitcoin dominance coming down is equating to quite a big pump in the altcoins, as there's a lot more liquidity in the market now too, than there used to be. And I just want to go back and explain one thought, because one guy commented on it last time, and I said, now Bitcoin at 108,000 plus feels a lot closer to 1 million than 10,000. I didn't mean actual amount. I just meant psychologically. So a 10x to the upside is much easier for people to comprehend now than a 10x to the downside. That's what I mean. And these psychological levels are really important. And that's sort of like the mindset of this asset becoming more mass adopted and more people getting involved and, new institutions coming. That's what I meant by that, is that psychologically that $1 million mark is actually closer than 10,000. That's just my point there. At least that's what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing. So yeah, let's continue on then with XLM. And Andrew, are you in that XRP trade now, or what are you looking at? Guys, let us know what you're doing, where you're tuning in from. And thanks for everybody who just joined on this fantastic Monday morning. Trip, let's take it away with XLM.
Right. Yes, XLM. So XLM tends to follow with XRP. In this scenario, we actually got a breakout above this trend line and above this horizontal resistance before XRP did. So now XLM is already in retest mode, while XRP is still technically breaking out on the higher time frame. So right now we're looking at a breakout entry, a retest entry of about we'll say 25 cents, just to round it off. And then if we see that confirmed retest here, we're looking at a next level of resistance around 27 or 28 cents, then up to about 30 cents, and then up to about 32 cents for XLM. Now I'm going to zoom out here as well. I'm just going to move this aside just so you can see the bigger picture that's happening here as well. So XLM on the daily chart. Oops, let me fix that. There we go. And I'll try to square it off a bit. There you go. So we're looking for a breakout entry, right, still. And this is a bigger picture. So we're breaking above this long-term yellow trend line. So this is the breakout entry that we're looking for. And then we could start looking at the targets for the double bottom scenario here. So from the neckline at 32 cents, we're moving up to about 40 cents would be a decent psychological resistance, and then 50 cents, and then probably closer to 56 or 60 cents. So every 10 cents essentially is what the next targets will be for XLM once we confirm the breakout of this yellow trend line here.
Wow. So we're potentially, if you missed the move on XRP, you're waiting for a retest now. XLM is potentially one to catch, right? I mean, these double bottoms are just starting to form across a lot of different altcoins, and XRP starting to pump is a good indication that we might be seeing a move from XLM.
Right, yeah, and we're gonna take a look at the XLM BTC pair chart just the same, just to see also where this is headed as well. We want to see if something's outperforming Bitcoin. So if we break above the 4-hour 200 MA here on the XLM BTC pair chart, we're looking for a move probably to the top of this local range, and that's about a 33% move against Bitcoin. So that means you make 33% more in this trade than if you were holding Bitcoin as by itself.
Right. No, absolutely. And this is what we are looking for. We're looking to outperform Bitcoin. And if you trade with leverage, then you can, potentially open a leverage trade right at the breakout or on a retest. And otherwise, you're getting an idea for your long-term bags where this could be headed, right? Andrew says he's just holding XRP, missed the entry on a long last night. I love those kind of comments because that means you're a very calm and disciplined and collected trader, right? You're checking your emotions. You're waiting for that trade to come to you rather than chasing it. That represents right there a disciplined trader, a disciplined investor. It depends on your strategy. If you're an investor, you're buying the pullbacks, right? Potentially. If you're a trader, you're waiting for that trade to come to you, as Trip always says. So yes, and I love that in the group we're posting a lot of support entries rather than breakout trades. There's a little bit of both because they both work, obviously, depending on market conditions, but those support entries are gold. So
right. If you want to move on to the next one, this was a excuse me, a request by one of our members. It's just an update for Theta.
So Theta, all you Theta, let me know if you're a Theta fan in this audience. I know we have a lot of people who are like in the Theta family and they love Theta. So let us know if you're out there. But we're posting this chart for you and for the member who requested it. But it's looking good. Talking about support level entries.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah, we're looking for, right now it's a breakout entry more or less. This ascending triangle could be an entry on this lower trend line, but it's a little tentative at this point. If you wanted to try start scaling into the trade, this is something we always suggest doing in the group. Don't put your entry don't put all of your eggs at one entry. Try to spread them out over time. So if you have for example, like $1,000 to put into a trade, you might open up the trade with maybe 200 to start with. And then if you get some movement to the upside, or if you confirm a break above a major resistance level, then you can add to that position again. Then if you get that breakout and a retest, then you can add again to that position. So you don't have to enter all in one place. You're just adding as you get more and more bullish confirmations.
Right. And for those who are new here to trading or to this channel, can you do the same thing with leverage trading? Can you also have this sort of like scaling in strategy?
You can, definitely. Usually what I'll do is I'll add more margin to the trade just to give myself more of a buffer zone. So it follows the same rules. If you're using 5x leverage, you might only use 10% of your position to open the trade and then continually add another 10% as you go.
Right. And the reason I said ground level entry is because we've been talking about this theta chart for a while. And we were actually talking about, when it was closer to the support here, that it was a ground level entry. And now we're just following it up on stream much later on. It's cool to see the trajectory of it and where we've come since the last one. So yeah, but it's looking really good for you Theta fans out there. And I think with that, that was our last chart. If you guys have any last requests before we wrap up this stream, and we'll let you go crush it this Monday on your way to work or wherever you may be going, just thinking about eyes on the prize and just focusing in, honing in on that goal, whatever your goal may be, if that's financial freedom, if that's making extra money through trading, however you want to do it. Just make sure that you keep going. Don't give up. Learn as much as you possibly can. We've got another request here from Joe. I think, Joe, you asked about Tao in the last stream. Thoughts on HBAR? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Andrew. I forgot to comment on that earlier about the ETF pending, looming. Obviously, I've been in touch with the team. I'm extremely bullish on HBAR fundamentally. Thoughts on it? I mean, I just think that HBAR is going to have a phenomenal run this cycle, especially because it's one of the leaders in RWA as well, and working with big institutions. So yeah, we'll be looking out for more news on the ETF. And it is what it is. Like we do get some initial inflows, but it's going to take time. I don't think anything goes straight up after the ETF is announced, but that's a huge milestone, right? And so I think HBAR is going to do phenomenal this cycle. It looks like we're going to start with Tao. Maybe then we can peep in on HBAR. We did look at it last stream, but maybe we can do a quick follow-up with that. And here we've got Tao for you, Joe.
Yeah, Tao. I've been watching this a little bit to see what kind of a structure we're going to form here. The only thing I'm concerned about is that I don't really see a bottoming structure yet. The only thing that I can go by for a bullish idea is that the 0.618 is going to hold for a bounce here. But since the price is below the point of control and it's below the 1-day 200 MA, really that's the thing I'd be looking for next, to see a break above to confirm that we're going to go back up again. But for now, I just really want to see if we're going to get maybe a double bottom. Maybe this turns into a cleaner falling wedge. I mean, you can kind of draw one here now. Doesn't look too bad. But again, it's really just, you need to wait to see what it's going to do. These falling wedges can continue for a while. I'm not a big fan of these broadening wedges, so I probably wouldn't have drawn it like this normally. I'm really just trying to find something I can do to work with it. But my point here is that usually if I see a chart that looks tough to trade, I move on to something else. If I don't have anything strong to see or to look at or to trade, there's probably 100 other things that might have something better or easier to trade, in my opinion.
So then the moral of that story is, if you're trading Tao, you might want to wait until it builds a little more structure, maybe comes back down for another swipe of the lows. Or if you're an investor and a long-term hodler, I mean, maybe Tao will take a little bit longer to settle and find its bottom. But I'm also extremely bullish on Tao long-term as one of those blue chip AI coins. I know their team as well, and what they're building is real and it's really cool. So agreed. 50-50 call right now, says Joe. Short term depends on if Bitcoin can break and hold. A lot of it depends on what Bitcoin does too, right? Whether altcoins find their bottom or they're going to take another swipe of the lows. There's some with better structure than others. That's true. But yeah, long term, I think Tao will do very well. And I think, just to finish up, Trip, should we pull the HBAR chart up and just do a quick follow up on where that's at right now?
Sure, if I can find it here. It might take me a moment.
Yeah. And while he's doing that, if you have any other burning desires or just want to say hello, guys, let me know what you're up to. I just love to know what people are doing and what you're focusing on. And we appreciate you too, Joe, and all of you in this chat. We went over XRP, how our member did a phenomenal trade last time. One of our members, just a standout trade. So XRP is potentially gearing up to do the same thing. So now we've got the HBAR chart pulled up again. And we just covered this, I believe, on Friday, on 4th of July. But let's see if anything else is. It doesn't look like we've changed significantly since then.
It's not a whole lot of change. We did get a retest that we were looking for, and we got a bit of a bounce on the 272. So you got some confluence there, right? When you see a fib level at the same level as your moving average, that's the 4-hour 200 MA that came into the picture here. And you're also getting a bounce on this falling wedge trend line. So there's some ideas that support that you're satisfying 3 different types of traders. And that's really what it's about. You might have the best idea in the world on your chart, but if nobody else can see it, it's really kind of useless. So when you're trying to find confluence on a chart, you're satisfying people that use mostly moving averages as part of this strategy. Maybe they use fib levels as part of their strategy, and then other people that are pattern traders as their strategy. So once you satisfied all 3, that's pretty much where you're going to get the volume coming in, because everybody agrees that this is where it should be bouncing.
Wow, that's pretty well said, considering that we've also got that ETF decision looming, and that could be the kind of news, fundamental news, that you pair with the chart like this. That could be a catalyst, so keep an eye on HBAR. It's looking good. See that double bottom structure in there again. It's a phenomenal time to get back into this if you're just starting to tune in again. And for those of you who've been here, the patience gets rewarded. What does Buffett say? He says, like, the money is always transferred from the impatient to the patient hands. I believe that is one of those scenarios playing out right now. And yeah, we're zooming in here to see about entry for HBAR.
Yeah, you could call this an inverse head and shoulders. The shoulders are rather small, but technically it's still a pattern. So if we draw this in, just so you guys can see what I'm looking at here, you'd have your left shoulder, you have a really broad head, and then another really short shoulder. So you could be looking for a breakout entry above this level here. Otherwise, yeah, that's really all I can see for now. Breakout entry.
You get to watch Trip chart in real time. This is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, inverse head and shoulders, that's a pretty decent bottoming pattern. Also after the breakout of this channel, or this falling wedge. So yeah, it's nice to see a bullish pattern following another bullish pattern. So you got more confluence again there, just the same.
Right. Now it's looking good. HBAR is coiled up and ready to pop. I definitely have this in my long-term portfolio. I'm looking to trade it as well. And guys, I think on that note, we're going to wrap up our Monday morning stream. Just hope you're all doing well wherever you're at in the world. If you're in Europe, have a wonderful afternoon. Trip, any closing thoughts?
Pretty much the same as last time. We just need to see what Bitcoin's going to do before we confirm any direction changes or any continuation of the path so far.
All right. It's all coming down to it. It's all coming down to it. Let's see what Bitcoin does, if we can confirm a breakout or not. We're going to take a little bit more time. But things are really exciting, guys. And we have a lot planned for tomorrow's stream as well. So do tune in. Andrew, thanks so much for joining. And it's really cool chatting with you too. It's great to see what you guys are looking at. Leonard, you as well. All you traders in the audience. We love to just have a discussion, right? So that's what this is all about. And yeah, exciting times indeed. So stay tuned for tomorrow. Let us know what charts you want us to cover. And on that note, we're just wishing you all a wonderful day. And I see you drew. I see you drew another line here as we were speaking, Trip. Just to add a little bit more to the trade.
Yeah, it just depends which way you're looking at it. You can call it an inverse head and shoulders. You can call it an ascending triangle. Both are equally bullish. So really no difference.
I got to address this last comment before we wrap up. Spain super sucks. Go to Portugal. Well, I have to disagree. I love Portugal too. Portugal does have the golden visa thing going on, I think, and they have really great capital gains laws for crypto, as in almost none. But I love living in Spain. I mean, so they call it like the Sunshine Coast where I live because it's always sunny. It's just a beautiful place. So I agree. There are more tax optimal places to live probably, but I love living here. So I think it's really important, guys, like no matter where you're at in the world, just create a surrounding that makes you happy and surround yourself by people who are going to help make you better and lift you up and get you to that goal, because mentality is so important in all of this. And if you don't have that support, you've got to go and create it. So that's what we're trying to create here on this stream with all of you guys. So thanks again so much for everybody tuning in. Later pipeline, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. EST. Hope to see you there. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, Trip.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.